afternoon, beautiful people. This is Who's Your Faithful going live. Man, what a friggin' weekend, Monday that was, huh? We got the Natty. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I have to be honest with you people. Beginning of the season, I was thinking like 9-3, 10-2, somewhere in there, maybe a national playoff team. But you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong. What a season that we had this year. Being a fan for over 30 years, season ticket holder for 25. This is unbelievable. I'm all by myself today, so it's going to be all me. No one else talking. It's kind of sad. I'll miss my boy not being here. I do have my Athena sitting, laying over on the couch over here. So she's over there doing that. Hopefully she doesn't get too loud. Well, anyway, let's get on to this. Things I'm going to talk about today. What a game. What a game. Just like I had posted on here on this video before, that IU, to win this game, would have to have a turnover to win it, some kind of play in the first part of the second half, or the end of the second half. Sorry, first part of the second half or the last part of the first half. And it happened on special teams. It's amazing to me. Just absolutely amazing. I can't believe it. You know, this team, everybody's saying how we went out and bought a team. We did not buy a team. This team was not paid for by NIL. It wasn't. You know what it was? It was a group of individuals from different areas in the country, from different teams, and some from Indiana, the Indiana Hoosier under Tom Allen, that went out and did this. It wasn't just JMU players. It wasn't just players from IU. It was players from Kent State. It was players from Texas. It was players from all over the place, you know, coming together as a team. That's one thing that we forget nowadays. You know, there's no I in team. This group of guys, this coaching staff, they played as a team, as one unit. From the first guy to the very top of the chain, Coach Natty, all the way down to the player that was a walk-on. They worked together. They worked hard to get this victory. Some of the players that are unsaid on this team are players that were specialty players that weren't starters. You know, of course we had special team players in there mixed in, right? But you got to give this whole team credit for this. You know, we had players from Tom Allen era on this team too. Jamari Sharp is a perfect example. I drive Uber at night, okay? And a couple of years ago, when Kurt Sinetti first came on, Jamari Sharp was in my Uber. And hopefully he'll verify this for me so he's not thinking I'm spreading lies, but it's the truth. Okay, Jamari Sharp was in my Uber, and he told me, he goes, I don't know if I want to stay here or not. I'm in my Uber, and I said, Jamari, you are a good player, potentially to be a great player. Just stay and see how it works out for this season. And he did. I don't know if he took my advice or not. I'm sure there was a lot of advice going all over the place for him. But I'm very proud that he did. Because he did a great job this year. And they're just now saying that. But throughout the whole season, Coach Ola Adams had both of those cornerbacks on lockdown mode. And in the back part, we had players from IU too. We had Mary Ladino on the front. We had Amari Farrell. Lewis Moore, former players on the defense from IU. Okay, and I'm probably missing somebody, which I think I am. Isaiah Bones Jones was another one, but I'm probably forgetting somebody else. But I forgive me. I apologize, guys. I can't remember everybody. But on both sides of the ball, we had players from the Tom Allen era. But what these guys did from all over the country that came together and built this team as a team with senior leadership, guys that were 0 to 3 stars came together and had a chip on their shoulder and worked their asses off to be national champions. I am so proud of this team and the teams before them of what they came and did. We don't give the other teams before them credit, and it really kind of pisses me off, to be honest. You know, uh, now Coach Sig, his coaching staff, some former coaches from IU staff were on here. Coach Kuntz, Coach Bosted was both from IU staff. Um, so it's great. Now, diving into this game, boy, this game was just like I predicted. I predicted it was going to be a very tight, hard fought game in Miami. Miami's defense is really a tough defense to get a handle on if you're an offensive coordinator. You had a lot of people. You had Mesidor on the outside causing havoc, Bain on the outside causing havoc, and you could see our tackles were having some problems with that. Probably one of the best tackles in the country, I think, anyway. I'm not being biased here because some of the draft people are saying the same thing. Carter Smith had a hard time on the outside against these guys. They're fast, they're big, and they cause problems. Right side, Benson was having problems with this. Part of it was as that we weren't getting the scheme right blocking, but I have to give credit where credit's due. Pat Coogan has done a great job all year of being the leader on this line, getting these guys from inside out to work together as a unit. That comes with great coaching. Bob Bostad, film junkie, uh, and we really did a great job all year long with our players. We had players that came in for players that got hurt, and they did a great job. Johnny is going to be a great player on the offensive line. Drew Evans is a great player to stay still, I hope. So, I mean, Bray Lynch, another guy, hopefully he stays. I mean, that's one thing in the portal that I really honestly see that we need to get some help on. We got, a couple of big guys coming in, but we might have some players leaving, which is, I don't understand it, but that's modern college football. I don't quite understand it, but on with the game. Now, the defense played really well. Our defense played really well against Miami's offense. And I don't think the general public understood that how well we played against this offensive unit. The general fan doesn't understand the chess pieces that were going on there. It was amazing to me to see how we, during the game and at half, we changed our philosophy on the offensive line and blockers and stuff to take care of their outside guys, which was very important in this game. Our offense wasn't playing all that great, to be honest with you. I mean, you have to be honest about that. We're having a very hard time on offense. Still, Fernando Mendoza, of course, played amazing. That run that he had was amazing. You can't not take that away. Um, he was 16 for 27 for 186 yards. He was kind of held in check, but that was by design on Miami's defensive side. Now, Kalon Black, sorry, he came right out. He is a pistol. This kid is a beast at running back. He was running over people. I tell you, this is one of those kids that, the NFL scouts are going to look at and say, yeah, he could do good in the NFL because he's strong on his feet. He has all the intangibles, blocks well out of the backfield. So he's going to do really well. And congratulations to him on reaching 1,000-yard season. And that makes two of our running backs that reached 1,000 yards this year, which is an amazing feat for an offensive line and running backs to do. Congratulations on that, Kalon. You've been a key factor in this turnaround, and people don't give you enough credit for it. When we lost our starter in the beginning of the season, everybody was down on you, and I knew that you would do great. And you can go back to past podcasts to know that. Kalon Black has 79 yards, leading the team on rushing. Hemby was they were really focused on him, trying to stop our running game. They really were. They were trying to force us to pass, which was a good plan for them, honestly. But we ended up adapting and overcoming the challenges of the game. Omar Cooper led the way with our receivers. 71 yards, 5 receptions, all our wide receivers played really well. The unsung things that you don't see, the blocks from the wide receivers, Surratt and Coop, and you don't usually see that for wide receivers, but they did some great blocking. Charlie Becker was another one, did a great job on blocking on the outside. So that's something that the average fan doesn't see, but when you go back on film and watch that, how important it is that you have a running back, that both running backs blocked really well out of the backfield, how important that is in the passing game, and how good the wide receivers blocked. Truly a complimentary football for both sides of the ball. All 3 phases were amazing, and I said that in the podcast last week that was going to be a key to victory, is if all 3 phases, and I always say 4 phases. People look at me like I'm crazy because coaching's a part of that. They're the 4th phase of a game. So key moments of the game, Coach Natty made a key timeouts, and I'll be honest with you, some of the play calling in this game was questionable to me, but I can understand what they were doing by the way of trying to get Miami's defense tired. I can understand that in the play calling, but there was some bad play calling in the game. I'll be honest with you. A shout out to special teams. Kamara, starting player on special teams, goes out and blocks the punt. Ndukwe played great on special teams too. Isaiah Bones-Jones gets the fumble or the block punt in the end zone for a touchdown, a key momentum swing in the game. Aiden Fisher had a great game once again. This kid on film, if you watch him on film, he is the quarterback of the defense. He knows plays. He's sitting there watching the formations coming at him, and by the time the second half comes, you can see Aiden Fisher calling what play that is most likely to happen, and that's amazing for someone that's quarterbacking the defense. He's gonna get drafted. There's no doubt in my mind with him. Just even on special teams, just for special teams alone, this the guy people have to understand. I'm going on a tangent now. I tend to do that on the show. People have to understand that when pro scouts are looking at you, one thing that they look at is how are you. Some things they look at is how are you as a teammate? How are you as a player? Are you physically strong enough to play the position? How complementary are you to the position you're at? You know, Aiden Fisher checks all that. How much football IQ do you have? And he fits all that. Now he's a little bit undersized. He's like 6 foot, probably 230. I'm not positive exactly what his height is or weight is, but if I had to guess, it'd be somewhere in there. But the pro game is different than the college game still. Um, but he's going to do a great job. He's going to play somewhere, no doubt in my mind. Lewis Moore came in and did a bunch of tackles on this play. So that was pretty amazing. But getting on the story, I had a phone call there. But yeah. Anyway, getting on with this game, our defense played really well against Carson Beck. We really did. He had one touchdown pass, but he went 19 for 32 for 232 yards. But we kept them in front of us. We had a bend don't break mentality. Tony, that Tony kid, true freshman, what a athlete that kid is, being a true freshman coming into this game. Truly amazing, the athlete he is. Like I said, Mesidor had 2 sacks against us, and Torrey, the linebacker, had 9 tackles. This game was a tale of 2 halves. It really was. The first half we were up 10-0. The second half they came back and gave us some problems. We were starting to get a little tired on defense. We didn't have a lot of players that were able to come in and substitute for our defensive players due to the loss of a couple of players in transfer portal and injuries and stuff like that. So kudos to the guys that came in and played really well. Ndukwe played really well, So, yeah. Well, getting into the second part of this, the Mark Fletcher running back, boy, he's a hell of a running back. He is a big physical running back, and he gave us everything he could. Man, that kid is a great running back. I don't know what happened between him and Tyreek Tucker at the game. I mean, there's so much internet crap going on out there. I just saw on film that, he took a swing at him, at Tyreek Tucker. I don't know what was said. I wasn't there, so I'm not going to assume anything, because all this assumption makes is the ass out of you and me. Old law enforcement term there. So, we did a great job. We really did this game. Of course, that Jamari Sharp with the interception to end the game. Talking about somebody that is under the radar as a cornerback. When you have 2 cornerbacks like this that can lock down both sides, it really makes it hard for the defense. A lot of the catches weren't long catches down the field. A lot of them were quick passes, and we did a great job against them on our pass defense. Played a lot of zone against them, which I expected. A lot of cover three, a lot of cover two. So we did a great job against them on defense. It's Jamari Sharp and D'Angelo Pons, Lewis Moore, Mari Farrell, all you guys did an amazing job in the secondary. Shout out to Coach Ol Adams for the development of these players. Um, I wanted to get into a little bit what's going on now in the transfer portal. Of course, we lost Alberto Mendoza to the transfer portal. That's a huge loss, but I can understand why he would go. I do, and I wish him the best. I love his family. I love him, and thank you for getting your brother to come here. Uh, he did it. Your brother Fernando was amazing this whole season. Alberto, you were great when you came in to play too. There's no doubt in my mind that you're going to do great things at Georgia Tech, and I'll be the first one to be cheering you on, just like I have to the quarterbacks that have left here in the past. We had some great quarterbacks here going back years that end up going to other teams and being great. You know, Sorsby, Penix, you know, Baslack. I mean, you can go on and on. Dexter Williams the third. You know, on and on to the players that have left this team and done great things out of the transfer portal. And I know that you'll be the next one. But yeah. So some of the other players that we have lost, we apparently have lost a couple of players now in the transfer portal. So that, I mean, it's going to be great to see. We had some guys come in that are going to be important keys to our offense. I do think that we need to get some more offensive linemen in just for depth. So I know we got an offensive lineman, and then Joe Bruner, big kid, physical kid from Wisconsin. And we got some really good cornerbacks coming in, special teams players that are coming in. So that and the tight end position, I think, are what we need. We've got really good players coming, some running backs coming in. Turbo Richard was down at the south side watching the game. Toby Tsunami, I saw him the other night when I was driving Uber. Josh Hoover is a question mark to me. We'll have to see how he does in this Indiana offense. I really don't know who our backup's going to be at this time. I don't know, but outgoing. Some of the key players that I was talking about that are outgoing. Evan Lawrence, offensive tackle. This kid was a really good prospect for us. I don't know where he's going now. Henderson, he was a developmental player. I really saw him coming on. I thought he really did well on special teams. One of the guys that I really uh, was questioning was Andrew DePepe. I mean, that kid was destined to be great. I don't know what happened there. I'm not an insider to the program at all. I never claimed to be. I used to be more of an insider during Coach Allen's era. I would talk to him quite often, and I still do. But I don't know what happened there. That's a big loss at the defensive end position, though. I really think that he was going to do great things. Like I said, I don't know what happened. Uh, you know, one thing the transfer portal too is we don't think about is the offensive any coordinators that leave. You really have to think about that when coordinators leave your program. And a huge loss is Derek Owens, strength and conditioning coach. He's been praised a lot from what he's done, and from what I've seen from the players' development standpoint, as far as building mass, uh, agility, quickness, you know, uh, flexibility. He did an amazing. He was an amazing job at doing this all. Uh, and a couple of guys actually they're saying went with him, which is it's going to be a huge loss for Indiana to get uh, coaches in that position that are equal to or greater than what we had. But Coach Sig and his crew and will hopefully get that done because that is a huge loss to the program. Probably the biggest loss in the offseason, in my opinion. The strength and conditioning coaches are very important on on for this program to succeed. They are the most important thing, especially during the off season. Like this time from now, going from today forward for the off season, getting these players ready to get stronger, faster, more mobile. This is it. This is the time of year when you build that. You build that weight room. You build the players in that weight room. You see what kind of players you have coming in, what kind of work ethic they have. This is a key time of the season for us in that area of football. This is going to be a very quick off season. We're not very long away until we start up spring practice. And the way the transfer portal set up right now, it's crazy too. I honestly don't know what some of these players are thinking because there's so many players in the transfer portal now. A lot of you might not get picked up. I don't know. This is going for all of college football. Sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side, boys. It isn't. This is coming from someone who went to 4 different high schools, you know, through his hockey career. Uh, it's a tough thing to do to lose your base and go somewhere else to a different team. It's a whole different atmosphere. The coaching staff has a whole different set of expectations for you. The players that you're going to go compete with have a whole different expectation of what is expected of you. So it's going to be hard to wherever team you're coming from or going to, as far as the transfer portal goes. But continuing on, the transfer portal is hopping. We still have a couple of days left before it closes for the teams that were in the CFP championship game. So we'll have to see what happens there. I believe it's the 25th that it closes. Like I said, hopefully we get some offensive linemen and a tight end. There's never too many of them that you can have. In the defensive positions too, because you never know who's going to get hurt and what's going to happen. You're the next man up. You never can have too many quality players as far as depth goes on the offensive line and defensive line. That's a question for me. Another question for me is on the defensive side of the ball is linebacker is looking good. Our safeties are looking good. Cornerbacks look good. So my number one priority if I was Coach Natty would be offensive lineman and tight end. The experience for those positions. Going on with this, what a season that it was for us as IU fans and IU alumni. Shout out to the Hoosier faithful that traveled all over this great country of ours, all the way from California to Atlanta, Georgia, down to Florida to support our team. I know it was expensive. It was an expensive ride. uh, I personally couldn't afford it. I'll be totally honest with you. I couldn't do it. I couldn't justify it, especially right after Christmas. Uh, I take care of the grandkids, the kids. It's the way it is. But going on to next season starts today. Like I said, these some of the players that I expect to get drafted on our team this year for this draft: Omar Cooper, Fernando Mendoza, Carter Smith, question mark. Omar Cooper is probably gone. Aiden Fisher's gone. Uh, Carter Smith's going to be a top third round pick. Kamara definitely going to be on the second day. You know, it what we're developing here. Surratt is going to be a second day pick, which is crazy to think of because we haven't had a pick for a while. The last one I can remember is McFadden going to New York, I believe. But yeah, we have some good players in the pros now that signed free agent contracts and are now really helping out on the defensive, offensive side of the ball, which is cool to see. Uh, I really would like to have some of our former players come on here and talk with me, talk football. That'd be really cool to see. But so some of the players that we'll have to look at upcoming in the draft, we'll have to really watch and see. I'm excited to see what happens there. Trying to get my son to go to the draft, but don't know what's going to happen. Probably go up a couple times to watch the NFL Combine. I probably go up there a couple times and watch that and see how we stand there. For all the players of college football, I love all of college football. One thing I'm curious about, this past 2 years, we have done really well. And I remember the days when there was probably only 5,000 people in the stands. And now the stands are going to be full. It's going to be great. At home and away, we'll have fans traveling away now more than we ever had. It used to be we'd only have sprinkled a little red around in opposing stadiums. And we'd have teams like Ohio State come in here and fill our stadium up. Michigan State, Michigan, teams like that, Penn State, they would come and fill our stadium up. That's not going to happen anymore. But the Hoosier faithful will have to realize something, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news. A 9-3 season, 8-4 season isn't a bad year. I know you're all expecting us to be 10-2, go into the playoffs all the time, but you have to realize that what happened this year is an anomaly. It's not something that any team, no matter what team you are, you're Ohio State in the Big Ten, Michigan, Penn State's an example, Oregon, and other teams, Alabama in the SEC, Tennessee, Clemson in the ACC. I mean, you guys have to realize that every season is not going to be 10-2 and going undefeated for sure and winning the CFP. That as a Hoosier faithful, we have to be fans no matter what happens during a season. A lot of things can happen that we've been very fortunate with. IU has been very fortunate that we haven't had a catastrophic injury to a major position besides, losing Wyatt and Daly. and losing Aiden Fisher for a bit, but a, a true catastrophic injury at key positions. Last year we saw it a little bit when we lost Drew Evans, that we saw that we had a hard time on the offensive line when he got hurt. So as fans of IU football, we have to enjoy what happened on Monday, but we have to continue being true fans throughout. Because I saw for many years here going to games, like I said, around 25 years I've been a season ticket holder, been a fan over 30, that, we would have a bad season and not even have any fans there at all. And it really hurt. I would look up and I'd be like, wow, we had a pretty good season this year. And it's the final game of the year and against Purdue, and we don't have fans are not full. The stadium's not full with IU fans. It just drove me nuts. You know what I mean? We're 8-3, for example, and 9-win season, and it still wasn't like it was good enough. That's nuts. I know we had some really bad, horrible seasons in my time here. We really did, but I still would go. I still would cheer on the Hoosiers and show my support to the team and to the coaching staff of our school. And we have to continue that on from this point forward. This offseason is going to be quick. I suggest that if you're going to be a season ticket holder, you better jump on that now. It's going to sell out fast. I just have that opinion. So if you are a season ticket holder, go ahead and get that done. As soon as the tickets are released, we have some big home games coming this year. It's this season coming up. It's going to be a very tough schedule once again. Something that really intrigued me, if you think about this, the last 3 years, the old Big Ten East has won the national championship. Think about that, people. The bracket that we were in, that IU was in, the Big Ten East, the last 3 years have won the national championship. That bracket we were in on the Big Ten East was brutal, a brutal schedule every year. Having to play Penn State, Michigan State, Ohio State every year on your schedule. Sometimes they would have even been so grateful to us that the very first game of the year was against Ohio State. I'm not talking 3 games in. I'm talking the very first game. They would schedule us against Ohio State. It was crazy. But, I really would like to have some people come on this show to help me, some alumni, and how you're feeling about this past year. I'd like to have some of the former players come on here. I've made friends with some of you. T. Gray, Scales, we've talked, and several others. Colin McMahon, former players that played on this team. I would really love to talk to you. Cam, come talk to me. I'd really like to talk to you. Ball, I'd love to talk to you. I would really, really love to have a former IU offensive lineman and played for the Buffalo Bills, Saffold. I would love to have him come on the show. I would love that. Wally, you're always welcome. I watched you many years ago at IU. Dealman, watched you several years ago. Some of you guys that went out and did great things. Antoine Randall, I'd love to have you on here. I know you're busy in the coaching world now. out in Chicago. Um, and probably coach with one of my favorite coaches ever in Detroit. I would go through a wall for that guy. I really would. But anyway, um, some other topics I wanted to talk about here. Uh, what do you guys think about that we need to continue our success here at IU football? What is your opinions on this? And you can answer the questions after the show, or call in or type in and tell me what you're thinking about um, how next season will go for our team. I love college football. I love watching all football. I love watching all teams. I really hope that we continue on the success that we're having, and there's no reason why we shouldn't. I really would like to get your thoughts, IU alumni uh, that were at the games, any one of the games. I would love to talk to you, or just a fan that's not alumni that's been a fan for IU for many years or a couple of years. I would love to talk to you on this show. I really want to open up this program to the Hoosier faithful. I'm not a reporter. Okay, I don't have to look at my ratings. I don't have to look at all the other crap that they do. I don't. I try to get on with Coach Griff. I try to get on with Jim Coyle. They always refuse it. I love to be on with them, not just as an Indiana fan, but someone who loves college football as a whole, discussing formations, discussing, on the offensive line blocking formations, the different audibles on the offense, the defensive formations and audibles and stuff like that. I love college football. I love to dive deep into film. I would love to be on one of their shows to talk about IU football in particular, but other teams also that IU might be playing against. I love to talk to any one of you people out there. I really would love to be on another show, not just to promote my show. That's not really what it's about. Is that I have a love and passion for this game. Uh, like I said in the beginning of the season, I would go watch the practices for the players that were at camps. It's just I would go watch just because it's for love of the game. I still have a big passion for this game. I love seeing these kids from high school come in and compete at camp and seeing what the future may bring for IU football or to other programs. I love to see that. Um, I love to watch practice. I'm watching everything. I'm watching how the quarterback feet are moving. I watch the how the wide receivers are breaking down. I'm watching how the offensive lineman feet are, how the cornerbacks hips are moving, um, quarterback's eye discipline. I mean, I'm looking at a lot of things that the average fan doesn't look at. I don't believe when you're sitting here looking at film on these players. My Prevy is offensive line, defensive line. I mean, that's what I know the most. To be honest with you, that's what I watch the most. But my family's history in coaching and scouting is I really would love to be on one of your shows on what you think uh, Indiana football is going to be next year, and of course our alumni. I would love to talk to you that what you think about the last two seasons and the seasons before that as a Hoosier fan. Talk any college football with anybody at any time. I think I have more knowledge than Josh Pate, and he's so-called expert. I'll just say that now. I don't really care who I piss off, but I mean, I don't usually swear on this show. I'm usually against it, but I really don't care. Guys like Josh Pate, Paul Fieldbaum, I will name drop them. You know, even Herb Street has been great for college football, but even him, I mean, Coach Saban, a legend in coaching, but I don't know what his problem was is going against IU football. You know, we have some greats up there on the stage, on stages in college football. AJ Manuel was a former quarterback for Buffalo Bills. I'd even like to talk to him because he didn't give us much respect either. I don't, and some of the people out there, that they don't really know football. It's like when the earlier episodes, I would say, this Charlie Becker kid is really good on special teams, and I think that Coach Sig's going to give him a chance. And I was right. We were right. Me and my son Chase were right about that. You know, talking about Bamba, tight end. Dropped down to number 3, stayed on the program. Another Tom Allen person, a local kid, played great at defensive tack, or I'm sorry, at the tight end. Played great on special teams all season and previously. You know, guys like that, I have a passion for. The guys that truly gave their heart and body to make Indiana football great. I would love to talk to some of them kids that are done with their college football career and talk to them about what their ambition is in life now, what their next step in life is. When I was coaching, I always was trying to build men to be better than they were, to try to make them better people in society. And I had a pretty good run on it. I have several people that are in different fields, lawyers. I have them in law enforcement. I have them all over the country in different fields that are doing great for themselves. Of course, I had a couple that didn't make it so good, but that's okay. You can change your life. Faith in God and faith in yourself and faith in family. You can change your life no matter what you need to do. For those players that are former players that are listening to me that had a rough go at it after the sport was done. But yeah, I would love to have some of you on here, alumni, former players, like I said, to talk about this. I'm not biased by any means towards this team. I love all college football. I'm very passionate about IU football. I have been for many years. So yeah. Carrying on now, I just have a couple minutes left here of what I want to discuss. Some unnamed heroes this season that people don't talk about in the mainstream and what it meant for IU football. We had some players on this team that were great players for what they were to do. We had several players that were 0 to 3 stars. And we had 7 4-stars the last, I don't know, 7 years or 8 years or something like that. Anyway, you guys that have put yourself behind the team, you guys that are the unsung heroes of IU football, I want to say thank you. Personally, want to say thank you to what you've done for our program. The guys that are special teams, the guys that are walk-ons, the guys that are, on the practice team, you guys mean so much to a program, and you don't get enough credit. I just wanted to say that. I want to shout out to you guys, the guys that go to practice every day, get your butt kicked, but show our offense and defense what to expect during the game time. I always had respect for them guys, the guys that bring your lunch bucket to work every day and work hard just to be on a team. Might not see a game all year long, but still work hard as a redshirt or as a walk-on. You know, you guys are what makes a team great. You really are. So I want to shout out to you guys that weren't starters, maybe never saw the field, maybe just played special teams. I want to say thank you to you guys because that's the heart of the team. That's the heart of a football team right there. But so thanks everybody for joining me. Please like and subscribe to on YouTube and share this show. Um, Coming up in the future, I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to do one show a week until the season comes back kicking in, just to talk about transfer portal, talk about incoming players for 2027, talking about injuries, talking about players leaving and stuff like that, one day a week, and really diving into some film on the players of that are coming in for next year from the transfer portal or recruits that are coming in for 2026. I want to talk about that some too. So probably just once a week, I'm trying to lay down a time where it'd be good to do it at. So any suggestions, thank you. Um, any players would like to that are former players love to come on here, more than welcome. I'd love to have you. You know, we've had some great players come out of IU that have gone on to do great things, not in football. So I would love to have you on here, and also would love to have alumni on here who remember the days when we were sitting, the Hoosier faithful were sitting in the stands, and it was all empty except for the middle. I'd love to have you on there and what you think about what this program has become. I really would love to have that to show people that the true fan that's been through it, through the hard times and the good times. You know, I always reference my Buffalo Bills. Through the bad times and the good times, we always packed the stadium, and we're Bills Mafia. And sometimes we got a little rough at the end of the year with some of the players that I didn't like that, but and coaches. But all in all, we were always in the stands rooting on our team, and I'd love for IU to start that tradition of having old players come back and talk to these kids about money, talk about like planning after football life, talking about what to expect in the next level. I would love our former players that have gone on to the pros or haven't, that have been successful, our alumni have been successful, to come back and talk to these young men and all the athletics, any sport, to talk to these kids about financial stuff, life stuff, be a mentor towards them to be better men and women when they leave IU. Real quick, I just wanted to go through the statistics of the game, and then I'll get off here. I'll get out of your hands, off your eyes here. I'm kind of rambling this show. First downs, we had 20 to Miami's 15. Really took the time of possession was totally on our side with 36 minutes and 24 seconds, which is amazing. Third down efficiency, Miami was 3 for 11. We were 6 for 16. Fourth down efficiency, Miami was 1 for 1, and we were 2 for 2, which was huge. Total yards, Miami outdid us on total yards for 342 to 317. Our passing yards, like I said, we got beat there, 19 for 32. And had one interception thrown for Carson Beck. Rushing yards, we had 131 rushing yards on 45 attempts. So our penalties, we won the penalty side, which I expected because Miami is lucky they didn't get more. Honestly, we were 5 for 38 yards. Miami was 7 for 60. Um, of course, we had the one turnover at the end of the game, and the pump block should be on there for another one because we had the interception by Jamari Sharp, and we had Kamara come off the edge and block a punt, and Bones Jones got the ball in the end zone. But yeah, so we really did well. Because if you think about the rushing yards that Miami had with 110, a lot of that was one big run by Fletcher. Other than that, we pretty much stuffed them, which is amazing fact for Bryant Haynes, Pat Kuntz, Ola Adams, and this entire defensive staff. They did a great job game planning, as always. Our defense held us into the game. For most of the game, they stood up and kept us in it. So I want to say a great job to defense and special teams players, the unsung heroes of the football game. Special teams is very important, like I've said throughout the program this year. But that's about it. Final score, of course, was Indiana 27, Miami 21. Miami was a very physical team. We expected that coming in. And I want to thank all the Hoosier faithful who traveled with our team throughout the season, and especially the last run in the playoffs. That was amazing to see how many fans were at these games. So thank you again. The show is over today. I'll try to get back on and put on X and stuff, and when my next show will be. Good day, everybody. God bless America. God bless the Indiana Hoosiers. Prayers for the players that got injured can get healed up for their next season, wherever it may be. Thank you. Have a good day.